Hi and welcome back to another video from Plugin Connection. In this demonstration we're going to look at the SPL micro plugins, which includes De-Verb, Mo-Verb, and Attacker. We're mixing this session from Chica Ice, which is a Latin pop track. And we want to use these plugins not so much as a utility, but to enhance the production and our mix. So let's have a look. In this first example, let's listen to the drums soloed. So as you can hear, the claps that consist of the main beat and also the drum fill are exactly the same. So we want to give it a little contrast. And to do that, we're going to use SPL De-Verb to eliminate some of that room in the original sample. So I'll go ahead and isolate it, which is this track right here. So by using De-Verb, I can bring up the reverb reduction and it's going to eliminate some of that ambient sound or room sound in the recording. And this helps to tighten up the sample so it sounds a little bit tighter. But I also want to apply a little bit of EQ, and for that we'll use the SPL Full Ranger. Just notching out around 500 and making it a little bright around 10K and 4K. So this is what it sounded like before and after. So you can hear that it's much tighter. It also has a different tonal quality. So let's listen to that in context with our song. So opposite from De-Verb, you have Mo-Verb, which does the opposite, which enhances the reverberation or ambient sound of the recording. And in this section of the song, it's pretty much like a drum breakdown with a single synth line. Let's go ahead and check that out. Listen to what that sounds like. Now the only problem with that is that it sounds very weak. For being the only lead in the song for this particular section, we want to amplify that, beef it up a little bit. So I've done a couple of things. First of all, I've duplicated the track down below here in red, and we changed it down an octave. So let's hear the original track. That's the original one, and this is with the duplicated track. And on this double, we want to add a couple of things. First of all, we want to amplify the natural reverberation of that sound using Mo-Verb. So let's crank this up. But the only problem is that it's also enhancing the transients. So before Mo-Verb, we'll apply Transient Designer and bring the attack all the way down. Okay, we also want to apply a little bit of distortion using the VSM3. And we started off here with more guitars from side, which is this preset right here, number 8. So let's check that in. And lastly, we'll enhance the stereo width to 150%. So title these plugins and listen to what it sounded like originally before we added our duplicated track with the drums. And this is with our duplicated track with all the processing. So we talked about De-Verb, which helps us to reduce any ambient sound in the recording, as well as Mo-Verb, which is the opposite, enhances the room sound in the recording. But now let's talk about SPL Attacker. And we're going to use this in a creative way, because here we have a little guitar part. Go ahead and solo that for you. feeding that to the crystallizer for some backwards ping pong delay. And for that, I'm getting a lot of help using the BX Digital for EQ, just notching out the frequencies that I don't want. But I'm also accentuating the attack or the transience of that using SPL Attacker going into that effect. So I'll show you what that sounds like before and after. Let's go ahead and crank this up a little bit. So that's what it sounds like with just the EQ going into the reverb. But now let's add SPL Attacker after the effect to give us a little bit more transient and attack. Well, that's all the time that we have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and grabbed some cool tips and tricks that you can utilize in your own production and mixing. As well, I'd love to hear back from you on the feedback on the comments below. As well, if you're a new viewer to our channel, we'd love to have you subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.